Hey, what's going on guys? Ben here from RuneCraftPC and welcome to my attempt at making a next tank guide. This is using magic and I've been thinking about this for a long time and it's heavily requested, so I thought I'd make one. And it's not going to be too in-depth, but I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to get the basics for tanking. If you want a guide that tells you exactly where to stand, exactly when to use a certain ability, then this is not the guide for you. I will be giving you a general outline of how tanking works and how to do it, and then from that knowledge you can adapt on it and try it yourself, and over time you will get better. So right now you can see the contents page, what I'm doing in order. So first of all I'm going to go to the gear, I'll add annotations so you can skip to that. Okay guys, so first up we have the requirements of actually getting to the next fight and killing it and blah 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 blah. So if you didn't already know, you have to be able to access every single God Wars dungeon boss, which means you need the following levels: 70 agility, 70 strength, 70 range and 70 hit points. I would have I'll put a little thing up so you can actually see it. You don't have to listen to me, you can see it on screen. You also need 75 prayer, and this is to be able to wear a spirit shield. I will go into that more in my gear side of the video, but yep, 75 prayer is an essential, a must for me, not just a recommended a requirement. 68 summoning, I also put that as a requirement. It's recommended to have a pack yak, but at least a war tortoise. I definitely would not go with anything lower, any familiar lower than a war tortoise. I'm going to say that 80 magic, 80 defense and 80 hit points are the minimum requirement to actually kill the boss. Obviously you can do it with lower stats. You can do it with, I'm sure people have killed necks in like 5-mans with like 60 stats and stuff like that. But to make it worthwhile and to make it efficient and to make it so you're not leeching, basically, I would say that those are the required stats. And lastly, you need a full set of ancient ceremonial, which you can buy from the GE. This means you don't have to kill Zaros followers to get into the next bank. And the frozen key. The frozen key is used to get through the frozen door in God Wars dungeon. Then you go down the stairs, blah blah blah. But yep, to get the frozen key you have to go kill the KC, the kill count of every single God Wars dungeon boss. And you can't do this in the main center of God Wars dungeon, you have to go in the subsections. So say you were going to Bandos, you'd have to kill the Bandos followers between the door you smack your hammer on and the lobby of Bandos, if that makes sense. So you have to kill all of them, kill the kill count until you get the frozen key, and then you can get in. Anyway, let's hop into the gear now. This is my gear I use when I'm tanking. I have the full Sea Singer's armor, the bought version, not the superior version. I have the Virtus wand and the Spectral Spirit Shield. Then, the little details like Ragefire boots, Virtus gloves, Ring of Wealth, I don't know why, Fury, arrows will not matter. I recommend having a Sign of Life and a good aura. I use Vampirism because it acts like Soul Split and yeah, it's really useful. And then obviously a cape. So I filled up every slot in my worn inventory. And you can look over the stats of my gear and see how good it is. As you see, I've got pretty high HP using this gear and I'm pretty happy with it. So this is kind of a medium setup, like a medium to high setup in terms of how much it costs and how good it is. Virtus wand is very good, but I used to tank with a lot worse than this. If you have a lot more money, I would recommend upgrading this gear. Instead of having the full Sea Singers, I would recommend having the Tectonic Helm, Tectonic Body and Tectonic Legs, which is the level 90 mage gear power / tank armor. It basically has the same defense as hit and hit points of Sea Singers plus the DPS of Virtus. So yeah, it's pretty good armor. I can't afford it yet, but I'm thinking I will get it soon. You may, if you're rich enough, want to upgrade the wand to a seismic, but don't use a staff. You may want to upgrade the shield to an arcane or a merciless, I think it is, the level something shield, the mage shield that you get from Barrow's Rise of the Six. Let's see, you may want to, instead of having a ring of wealth with you, you may want to use a Seer's Ring, I think it is. I think that's the mage one. And yep, I think you know how to upgrade your gear. If you're rich enough, you can just get a higher tier of all of this gear. Obviously max cape, stuff like that, and a better amulet. So if you don't have enough money for even this gear, don't worry, this isn't a minimum requirement. This isn't what you need to be able to be a next tank. I started off with a lot worse than this. So if you don't have this money, I would recommend at least having Ganodermic, visor, top and legs. I would then recommend having a Wand of Treachery as a minimum and a Spectral also as a minimum. I would not go any lower than a Spirit Shield, else you'll be at a major disadvantage and you will find it extremely difficult. Gloves, Ganodermic gloves, boots, Ganodermic boots. Still have a Sign of Life and a good aura. Ring of Wealth is fine. If you can't afford a Fury, then an Amulet of Glory if you must, but Fury really helps. And if you don't have a skill cape, then you can use like an RD cape or the Tok cape, the thing you get from the fight caves, that cape, yeah. But yeah, that's the gear you can mess around with a bit. But the main thing you want to have is good HP, good defense, and a pretty good shield. That's the main thing. As a tank, you don't need to have a good DPS output. You just need to be able to get through kills with minimal food, which is what this gear is for, really. I'm trying to think of any more recommendations or changes I could make, but I think that is it for gear. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comment section below and I'll be happy to reply to you. But yep, I think I'm pretty happy with gear now. So let's move on to the inventory. I'll just put it down here. This is personally what I use for my inventory setup. I have an overload flask and a prayer renewal flask. If I'm with a free man, I will have 2 overload flasks and 2 prayer renewals, but I usually duo, so I only take 1 overload flask and 1 prayer renewal. I then have an adrenaline plot. You do not need an adrenaline pot, but it really helps. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 super restores. I think that's an optimal amount if you're taking 1 overload. If you're taking 2, maybe 8 to 10 super restores, depending on the aura you have. If you have a prayer saving aura, then you only need about 5. I would recommend rocktails. Some people do it in sharks, but I would just highly recommend rocktails. I wouldn't go lower than sharks, so if you have to, use sharks, but don't go any higher than rocktails. Don't go for rocktail soups. I would definitely take some Varrock tabs or teleporters. Just teleport tabs on your inventory, else you may be stuck in a bit of a situation. Runes, I personally use dust runes because it combines air and earth runes into one, so I can use Earth Surge as my main hand and offhand spell. I then have Chaos and Soul runes to cast Vulnerability, and if you want to, you can also cast Curse. Those are not essential, but really help out, especially using them on Blood Phase. I then also have a Drygor Mace and a Virtus Book. Now, with these 2 switches, I would definitely recommend having at least 1 switch. For me, I've brung 2. When I go duo, I put on the Virtus Book for Blood Phase, else it may siphon and we won't get it first time. So you put that on and I use Sunshine, and yeah, I'll get into that when we're doing the kill. So I would take a book switch or an orb switch, depending on the wand you've got. and a melee or range switch. If you don't have a Dragon Mace, maybe you could take a main hand chaotic crossbow, or a crossbow that you can still use a shield with, because it does protect mage, and then the next kill it will protect range. So you definitely need either a melee or a crossbow switch. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be hugely high level, but it does help out. So now we'll go on to the ability bar, and let's turn off Revolution. So this is my personal ability bar. Actually, I'll put it into full screen now. You can see my whole layout. This is my ability bar. I have also the attack, range and mage abilities up here. So number 1 I have rack, number 2 fire breath, 3 impact, 4 combust, 5 concentrated blast for when I put on my Virtus book, 6 wild magic, and 7 asphyxiate, and for 8 I have sunshine. And then these 4 are kind of important. On number 9 I have provoke. You will need that if you're going to be a tank. On number 10 or 0 I have the vulnerability spell, so I can easily cast it and I don't have to go into my spellbook and spam it and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Number 11, or that little dashy sign, I have sacrifice for an extra heal. And number 12 I have freedom. No I don't. Number 12 I have escape. 2 different things. So you may be thinking, you know, that's an alright ability bar, but there's not much defensive abilities. That's because you can see up here I actually have my defensive abilities in a separate tab, and I also have prayers in a separate tab. I would highly recommend this if you're doing any high level bossing, such as Nex, Virago, Barrow's Rise of the Six. It really does help out, and it means you can have more offensive abilities on your bar, and then you can spam these that are over here, and you don't have to worry about putting them on your ability bar. If you do want less offensive abilities and you want to have these as your shortcut keys on your ability bar, then by all means do that. This is just what I think works best, and I'm pretty happy with it. It works pretty well for me. So I think that's everything. I think I've covered everything, and it's time to go into the smoke phase and into the actual kill. So I've thrown up a little checklist for smoke phase and step by step kind of thing what to do. So we're going to start off by checking the gear and activating the aura, making sure that you drink your potions and turn on your prayer while it's spawning the minions. Then you attack Nex and use provoke to lure it out to the designated spot, which you'll see in a second. Then you use anticipation and start the kill. You carry on using anticipation as much as you can during smoke phase, and you'll see that in the clip that I'll get into right now. So here we go. I'm standing at Nex Bank with my friend, and I'm checking my inventory, sorting out my quick inventory slots, and I'm all ready to go in. So I start a new session and jump down. Usually the tank does go in first. So there we go, I'm in. I have put rings around my cursor. Sorry if it's annoying, but it probably will help out. Call my familiar and just check I've got everything in there. And then I stand in this spot. Doesn't have to be directly this spot, but around there will help. You then overload up or pot up and put on your prayer. Activate everything you need to. And when Nex says fill my soul with smoke, you start hitting it, spam clicking it, and spam clicking provoke. You then run back to the spot which I'm standing in right now, and if you want you can put on vulnerability. I usually do. I do it on the first phase and on blood phase, pretty much on every other phase. So from here on out you've got vulnerability activated, and you just want to hit it. You just want to use all of your offensive abilities and use anticipation and freedom whenever you can. You see it sometimes says I don't know, it says something and then it dashes away and then comes back. When it's coming back, that's the best time to use anticipation, when it's at the top of the staircase. Right there it says Famus, do not fail me. That's when your DPS will then go attack the first minion. You can sit back and relax, or get your adrenaline to 100% and just carry on using anticipation. And that's it for smoke phase. So this is just a little reminder of smoke phase. Make sure everything is activated, drink your potions, use provoke and lure next out, and then use anticipation whenever you can, and just kind of DPS. That's it. Smoke phase is simple as that. Okay guys, so now for smoke phase, I've got the little chart up, and there's not much to do. All you need to do is activate range prey when it says darken my shadow. You need to avoid the shadows that appear below you, and then use healing abilities such as resonance or sacrifice whenever you need to. Then you just carry on DPSing and hitting next down until it gets to 120k life points. I will now run the clip of shadow phase. Okay, so next we'll say darken my shadow. At this point she'll either say fear my shadow or embrace darkness, like that, and a little black circle will appear underneath your character. All you need to do is walk away from the circle. This may be difficult at first, but you'll get the hang of it. If you don't walk away, then it may hit you for up to 3k, I believe. So then you just carry on attacking it and going through, and occasionally it will say darken my shadow again, and another black ring will appear below your character, and you do the same thing, you just walk off it. You can use your thresholds in this phase and carry on attacking it. I use resonance quite a lot, and I sometimes even use rejuvenation if I need a big heal or if I get hit by a shadow. So me and my friend were just happily DPSing along. I occasionally walk back and forth to avoid the shadows, sometimes when they're not even there, just out of habit. But yeah, shadow phase is a very easy phase. You just need to get the hang of it and just make sure you don't panic. That's the main thing. Avoid the shadows and don't panic. It will then say urban, do not fear me. Your DPS will go and kill the second minion. You run straight down the middle and stand pretty much opposite to where you were. You then carry on to get your adrenaline full for blood phase, and you heal up when you need to. You put on vulnerability, and you carry on attacking it until blood phase. Okay guys, this is a little shadow phase recap. I'm sorry I was rushing my voice in that clip, but there was quite a lot of information to cram down here. So you have to activate range prey, that's the most important thing. Just run off the shadows and use healing abilities such as resonance, rejuvenation and sacrifice. A good thing to do if you're in a duo, and maybe if you're in a trio, is to try and get your adrenaline up to 100% before blood phase. This is because you want blood phase to be as quick as possible. You want to use an ultimate ability such as sunshine or metamorphosis to get blood phase down quickly. It's not essential that you get 100%, but it is recommended, so do not panic if you do not get 100% before blood phase. Now we will actually go into the blood phase criteria crafting magic. Okay, so for blood phase, you want to start off by putting Mage Prey back on. Then you want to wait until Nex has stopped doing her little healing thing. She'll kind of like thrust herself forward. You'll see it, and it will say siphon something. You'll see it in the clip. You want to use an ultimate ability if you can and cause as much havoc and do as much DPS as possible. Then Nex will use her other special attacks in blood phase, which is sacrificing someone. If she sacrifices you, you will turn red, your whole character, and you, instead of panicking or running away, just use the escape ability, and then after a few seconds run back towards Nex and carry on killing it. If your friend or partner gets sacrificed, then they will do the same thing, and you need to use the provoke ability as soon as they get sacrificed. Unfortunately, in my clip I've only got a video of me getting sacrificed because we managed to do blood phase in one siphon, which is pretty cool, you know, nothing wrong with that. But yep, I'll run the clip of Blood Phase now, and I'll try and talk normally while doing it, I guess. Okay, so for Blood Phase, you see I've just still the Ender Shadow, activated vulnerability. Right here, it's pretty quick, but I put on Mage, I put on my offhand weapon, I activate Sunshine, and I start DPSing with all of my abilities. You see I'm hitting a bit harder than I normally do, because I've put on Sunshine. Right there, I demand a blood sacrifice. My whole guide turns red. All I need to do is use the escape ability and then run back towards Nex or back inside my Sunshine. I carry on killing it, and oh no, we didn't actually get it in one. If you don't get it down to 80k HP, he will then go, whatever he just said then, and he heals up. You need to stop attacking him at that point and then attack him afterwards again. So you carry on DPSing, and that time he sacrificed my friend. All I did was use Provoke to lure him back on me and carry on attacking him. There we go, we finished Blood Phase, and he said, Crew or whatever his name is, yeah. So at this point, you just get your adrenaline back up to full for Ice Phase, heal up if you need to using Resonance, and wait for your friend to put your shield back on too, and wait for your friend to kill the third minion. Right, here's what you need to do for Ice Phase. So firstly, when it says film something with ice or something, you use the ability Anticipation. I'm guessing you have to have your adrenaline full by this point. If next then says die in a prison of ice, you can then use Barricade, or if you're low HP, use Immortality. After that, carry on attacking using abilities and get your adrenaline up. If you need to use an adrenaline pot, do that. But if next says contain this first, then you should use Immortality and run away. Then Immortality should last until next says put you in a prison ice, an ice of prison or whatever it is, fuck it. Then when you're in the ice prison, Immortality will save you from that, and you'll still be halfway, your adrenaline will be halfway to 100% again for the next prison. It's kind of hard to describe without the clip, so I'll run the clip now and talk you through it. Okay, so right here he says, infuse me with the power of ice. That is where you use Anticipation. She said, contain this first, in which case I used Immortality and tried to run away. The contain did actually hit me, but that's alright. I then continued to get my adrenaline up, and I managed to get it to 42%. She then puts me in the ice prison, and Immortality obviously saves me, and then I use Resonance because I'm like, fuck it, I want some HP. There we go, I carry on getting my adrenaline up, and those are the two moves you use. Contain this and ice prison thing. I'm now at 100% again for the next ice prison. It always goes one after the other. So there we go, there's the next ice prison, and I can use Barricade. Now if there's going to be another ice prison in this phase, then I will need my friend to free me from it, else I won't have any defense ability to save me from it. So there's the contain. I realise that there will be another prison of ice, so I asked my friend to free me. So when I get put in the prison of ice, my friend then hits the little stag things, and he actually fails to free me. I use freedom and just have to eat up. Sometimes you just have to do that, but it's not too much of a bother. Then she calls upon the last minion. My friend then goes over and starts killing that. Next contains again, and you'll find that she does actually go from contain to prison of ice fairly quickly. Sorry about that, something popped up about my PC. I'll probably blank that out actually. So I got put into the last prison of that, and I got my friend to free me. Right, so I'm sorry that was a very rushed phase, and it was hard to talk while watching everything go so quickly, but yep, the main thing of ice phase is keep your adrenaline high. If that means taking an adrenaline pot or just spamming abilities, make sure you get back up to 100% adrenaline as quick as possible, and if you can't do that, notice it and say to someone free. That's all you need to do. Just make sure you use defensive abilities, and if in doubt or if you get a bit scared, then just eat food. Eat above 6k HP and you will not die from the Prison of Ice, and the highest the contain can hit is about 3k, so there's no worries there. So that's it for Ice Phase. Just keep your adrenaline high. If it doesn't go to plan, eat food. Just stay safe with it. Okay, time for the last phase, which is Zaros phase. So what you want to do is activate all your debuff spells and spam all of your defensive abilities. Make sure you use defensive abilities like Reflect, the one that makes prayer, Devotion, that's it, Devotion, Barricade and Immortality, you can still use them, Rejuvenation, Resonance definitely, that goes on to the third point, using healing abilities whenever you can. Number 4, keep your HP high and do some damage. So yep, I would definitely keep your HP high. Zaros phase, there's no special attacks. Next just hits hard, just constant hard hitting things. So you just want to keep your HP high and use defense abilities, so you try and take the little amount of damage as possible. That didn't really make sense, but oh well. And then number 5, try and get a duo V1s, unlike me in this kill. So I'll run the clip. So here we are, the final phase, Zaros phase. It's only taken us 40 minutes to get here. 40 minutes of video time. So as you can see, I'm spamming my abilities up. I start to use defensive abilities, Devotion, I can't remember the one that I just used. I've already got Vulnerability on. Right about now I'm going to use Resonance and take off my prayer to get a little heal. It seems to be buffering for me, so I can't see it very well, but I'm sure it will sort itself out soon. So you carry on killing it, you just carry on using Deflect and Devotion. I use Immortality there. It's actually a really good spell to use on Zaros phase because it seems to hardly ever hit you. When you have Immortality, next doesn't seem to hit you very often, and when it does, it gives you enough time to have Resonance ready, so when you come back from the Immortality, you can use Resonance. That will boost up your HP, and then use defense abilities like Deflect. So I'm thinking, oh, is it going to happen? But yep, it hits through my Immortality. Use the Resonance. Do I get a juicy heal? That's alright, 2.5k. And we're almost done with the kill. My friend has been DPSing like crazy this whole time. I've just been trying to keep my HP high, and I actually managed to do the whole kill with only 2 food, which in a duo for me is, it's pretty impressive. So unfortunately we didn't get a drop that kill. Sorry that last clip ended a bit abruptly, but here we go. Here is the Zaros recap. So just remember to use defense abilities whenever you can. Activate the debuff spells whenever you can. If you need to, re-overload. I think I did it in Ice Phase, I forgot to say, but shh. Use healing abilities whenever you can, and generally keep your HP high and try and not take too much damage. But if you do, then just eat food. Zaros phase isn't that hard. It's just like killing Bandos, really. Just a really hard Bandos fight. So yeah, just keep HP high. That's it for Zaros phase, and I'm gonna go on to a general overview and recap now. So yeah, let's get into that right now. Okay guys, so this is my final tips and the final part of the video. I hope you like that I put a lovely sunny background for this, because I thought, next is so dark and we needed something bright. But yep, these are my final tips for the whole fight and in general really. So number 1, if in doubt, eat food. Definitely. If you ever think you're doing something wrong, eat some food. Make sure your HP is high. Number 2, stay high HP when learning and do not risk your life or others around you. Number 3, whatever happens, try to not panic. Stay calm and resolve the situation. This is what most people struggle with when learning. They just, when something goes wrong, they panic and they run, and it messes up the whole kill. So the best thing you can do is just stay still, eat food, and work out a way to resolve the situation. Number 4, make a bit of bank, and number 5, have fun. I thought that I had to put have fun because, you know, every guide has have fun on it, so it's a necessity. But if you've watched this far, thank you so much. It has taken me a long time to make. I am sat up at 3 AM at the minute, finishing off this video. I've had a lot of fun making it, and I've experimented with new editing styles. If you like videos like this, maybe not quite this long, or you want to see more guides from me, drop a like and a comment down below, and subscribe for future content. I'll see you again soon for my Road to All Next set series thing.